The Foster's Cup continues to spread its tentacles, today moving to Hobart as the last two teams make their appearance for 92. Fitzroy versus North Melbourne. The Lions finished last season off on a good note, beating the eventual grand finalists, the West Coast Eagles. Their form in practice games has been impeccable. The Kangaroos forwards were in great touch in a scratch match last week, and their promise might yet be fulfilled. Good afternoon and welcome to North Hobart Oval in Tasmania for the final first round game in the Foster's Cup between Fitzroy and North Melbourne. It's a big weekend of sport on 7, and straight after the football today we'll be going to round 1 of the Australian Touring Car Championship at Amaroo Park. Well, the Foster's Cup certainly has moved around Australia this year. We've had matches from as far afield as Darwin and Lavington and now in Hobart. Well, last season Fitzroy had an experiment and used Hobart as a home venue for 3 of their matches. And that experiment continues into 92 with 2 matches for premiership points to be played here this year, and of course today's Foster's Cup game. Last year they didn't have much luck with Hobart as a home venue because they lost all their home matches here. But the Lions' practice form has been great this year. They've won both their practice games against Melbourne and Richmond. And in their first official outing, they'll be looking to continue that form today. North Melbourne have a good record in the Foster's Cup. They were the grand finalists for the last 2 years. They don't usually play many practice games, so when it really counts, they make the Foster's Cup count, and they've done that in the last 2 years. And the odds on Melbourne's sportsbook Tabaret reflect that, with North Melbourne showing at 7-1 for the Foster's Cup this year. Already 2 games have been played this weekend in the Foster's Cup. Let's take a look at the results. And yesterday at Lavington, Essendon and Sydney, and the Sydney Swans had a big victory, 2018, 138 to the Bombers 11-11-77. And last night at Waverley Park in Melbourne, Hawthorn had to shrug off Richmond, who got within 11 points late in the game, but the Hawks 20-12, 132 beat the Tigers 15-14, 104. Well, the winner of this game today, let's have a look at the top half of the draw, and the Eagles and Geelong, who play next week, will go on to meet Hawthorn in the next round of matches. And in this half of the draw, the winner here today between Fitzroy and North Melbourne will go on to play the Sydney Swans in the next round of the competition. Let's take a look at the Mitsubishi ground report. Well, having done a game 2 weeks ago in Darwin where the humidity must have been about 100%, it's certainly a pleasure to come down to Hobart where conditions are certainly cooler. Currently the temperature is 19.7 degrees. Expected top in Hobart 20 degrees today, so we've really nearly reached the maximum. Humidity a much more pleasant 30%. There is no wind blowing here today, so no wind advantage to either side. And the crowd here, well, a moderate crowd, I suppose 6,000 or 7,000 here at North Hobart Oval to watch the game between Fitzroy and North Melbourne, and some of them even protecting themselves from the sun, which, even though it's not hot, is reasonably strong when it breaks out. Let's have a look at the captain and coach's appointments for the season. Robert Shaw, once again the coach of Fitzroy, and Wayne Schimmelbusch for North Melbourne. Paul Roos becomes captain of Fitzroy after Richard Osmond was the skipper last year, and Peter German is acting skipper today for North Melbourne. Okay, with me in commentary, Ian Robertson, and it should be a very interesting game, and we'll be debuting a lot of players today.
Yes, it'll be a terrific game of football, Drew. I'm sure that both sides will want to get away to a good start. And Fitzroy, of course, have got some notable introductions. Seacamp, a halfback flanker from Western Australia. Jeremy Gard, who played over in Claremont's grand final side last year. Peter Sartori will be a terrific acquisition for Fitzroy, along with Paul Abbott from Hawthorn and young Morrish from Essendon. North Melbourne, of course, have stuck with a lot of their players from last year. The notable acquisition is Richard Dennis, of course.
Thanks, Robbo. Looking forward to hearing your call during the day. North Melbourne out on the ground, and Fitzroy as well. The game about to get underway. The last match in the first round of the Foster's Cup. We'll be back with you soon. Welcome back to North Hobart Oval for the start of this game between Fitzroy and North Melbourne. Umpires in charge, Brendan Carland, and there in screen, Mark Prince, about to start the game. North won the toss and elected to kick to the scoreboard end, right to left in the first quarter. Gallagher, number 31, in ruck. But he's beaten in the first hit out of the game. The ball comes underfoot and is not clearing the area. The umpire will have to sort it out, and he sorted it out with a free kick. North Melbourne to take it, Wayne Schwass. And straight away, players getting right into it. Are they fair dinkum in the Foster's Cup or not?
Well, certainly in the early part of this game, I think both sides will go in pretty hard, Drew. That was Storitsky and Baldwin at that time. Abbott trying to crash his way through, can't get the ball away. Now North Melbourne through McCarthy. The kick into the pocket, no mark taken. Lynch is there, one out now, given a little bit of a hand there by Seacamp. And he's bundled over as the ball goes over for a boundary throw-in just inside the 50-metre line. Last year, the lines were a little closer to the goals. I think they were about 40 metres from goal. But this year, they've made the lines 50 metres, so it certainly is uniform now in the AFL. The ball on centre wing. We'll have another boundary throw-in. And Peter German is acting captain for North Melbourne today in the absence of Matthew Larkin, Ben Buckley. Boundary throw in, ruck work. Gallagher gets the tap out. Goes down to Storitsky. Storitsy's kick towards the half-forward line, and the mark is taken by Carey. Carey looks very, very fit at the start of the season, and he kicks it into the pocket. Looking there for McCarthy. Good hands, great mark. And John McCarthy, certainly an important player for North Melbourne up in the forward line. He kicks into the man and the mark. And Fitzroy go out towards centre wing, where the mark out there is taken by Lyon.
Yeah, that was Stephen Paxman out of the back pocket. Bad mistake by North. Here goes Lyon up towards half forward, pushed out of it Dundas, and he'll take the free kick. Coming back to Matthew Dundas, about 75 metres out from goal. His kick up close to the boundary line, too wide for Wheeldon, and out of bounds on the full. Quickly taken for North. Satori. Up over centre wing. And here's good play by Seacamp. Marcus Seacamp from East Perth. To the centre of the ground to Stevens, who works to the front and takes the mark, Brett Stevens. The hand pass out goes to McCormack. Good to see him back after a lot of injuries. Brayshaw gets the hand pass up the ground. Out wide with German. It came from Clarkson. Peter German inside half forward over the head of McCarthy. And Fitzroy first to double back. And the ball helped out of bounds by Paul Morris, the ex-Essendon player. And so far we haven't had a score.
Yes, Paul Morris has been a bit of a nomad. He started his career at Richmond. Played a couple of games at Essendon. And now with his third club. Let's hope he can get a few under his belt with Fitzroy. The kick goes back towards centre wing, and a good mark taken by Abbott. And Fitzroy really believe that they've gained a lot through Abbott coming from Hawthorn and Satori coming from Carlton. Added a little bit of height and obviously a bit of flavour to the Fitzroy side. A mark taken back there by Martin. Plays on quickly. The kick is far too wide, and he had the real chance there to put it on Rock's chest. Missed that player by about 10 metres. So boundary throw in between centre wing and half forward flank in Fitzroy's forward half. Tapped down, goes to no one in particular, and it's hurried over the boundary line for another throw in. Anthony Rock there in the picture. And he and Jose Ramiro having the roving responsibilities for North Melbourne this afternoon.
Gallagher and Abbott. Comes down to Spargo. Good tackle by Abbott. Charging onto the ball, Crocker. Fends off the tackle, but then the kick is smothered. Spargo tackled high by Osborne. Free kick to Spargo. Kick by Paul Spargo. Up towards half forward. Carey can't take the mark in the middle of the pack. It comes to the front. Poked up short of the centre of the ground. And here go Fitzroy moving the ball nicely. McCormack out of the middle to half forward. Bouncing ball by Dennis, the ex-Carlton player. Richard Dennis, kick wide. There's no North Melbourne player within cooey of this. Baldwin for Fitzroy. He's got support from Paul Roos. Oh, not a great kick. He had plenty of time. The skipper gave it straight to Jose Romero. Off the left boot he goes to half forward. Longmire's there. Big punch away by Lynch. Comes to Spargo. He's buried in the tackle. And eventually Morris slides the hand pass to McCormack, and Fitzroy moving well through Joe Cormack out of the middle. Was it Lyon? And a beautiful pass by Lyon, marked by Abbott, and the first scoring chance of the game. Paul Abbott, ex-Hawthorn premiership player, kicked 6 goals in a grand final. This one just gets away from him for a behind.
Just noting there, Drew, that Richard Dennis has got the job on Peter Satori. And I don't think 6 months ago they would have thought that this was happening. This was going to happen. That they'd be playing on opposite sides of the ground, both being ex-teammates at Carlton. Now the kick goes wide out towards centre wing. That could be a mark nearly to Seacamp. He looks a likely type. Playing on that half-back flank alongside Ruse, strengthening the defence. But that's a poor kick because it went straight to the opposition. And in today's football, you just can't afford, once you've won the football, to give it away so simply. Romero, he kicks up towards the wing. Chance now for Dwyer. He couldn't quite control the football. Gallagher can. Handballs away to German. German quickly into the forward line. Good kick. And gave Longmire every opportunity there out in front of Lynch. And Longmire takes the mark about 45 metres from goal on a slight angle. Fitzroy have kicked it behind. North Melbourne yet to score. But here's their first real chance. Pretty ordinary kick by Longmire. Floats up close to the line. And just before McCarthy could get his foot to the ball, it's hurried over for a rush behind to North Melbourne. So one behind apiece in the early part of this Foster's Cup match down here at North Hobart Oval, and quite good conditions, Drew, prevailing. Hopefully no rain, few clouds above, but we may get away with it.
Looks as though there might be a bit of rain about. Kick by Lynch towards the outer side. North Melbourne have the numbers 2-1 against Ruse. Carey, the hand pass through to Gallagher. Good movement of the ball. Schwass ran into a teammate. Wayne Schwass off the left boot for goal. Not a bad kick. Just offline. And through for a behind. North hit the front with that behind. They lead 2 points to 1. So we're still looking for our first goal, and we've been playing over 6 minutes.
That'll be an interesting battle back there. Lynch at full back on Longmire. Both very good young players. Now Fitzroy, the handball from Elliott went to Lynch. Comes back to Elliott. And he does pretty well. Forced to kick with the left foot, but it's not bad. It's marked out here by Stevens. Stevens' kick is smothered. Pretty good smother in the finish there by Scholl. Now opportunity for Abbott. That's his fourth kick. And the mark is taken by Clarkson at half-back. He plays on quickly, looking for Scholl, but the kick astray, and the mark is taken by McCormack. And doesn't he look a lot better this year after suffering a bad knee injury and having trouble recovering from it? But there's a kick off the ground, certainly on the full. Mark Brayshaw trying to indicate to the boundary umpire that it wasn't a free kick, but Richard Osmond quickly onto it. And now the umpire is asking Richard Osmond to go back and take his kick over the man on the mark. No, it's not going to be Richard Osmond's kick. It's going to be Peter Satori. Osmond running into the pocket, but there's not much percentage on this small ground to kick into the pocket because the angles then become extremely difficult. Satori from 55 to 60 metres out. Lovely kick, nearly into the square. No mark taken. Coming away with a football Scholl. He bumped off it. Chance now for German. Just fumbled, took his eyes off the ball. Crocker handball. Now Staritsky over the top. In front of Ramiro, runs onto it nicely. The kick is brilliantly smothered by Blakey, but Ramiro recovers quickly. His kick, under a little bit of pressure or in a hurry, has been marked by Morris just on the defensive side of the wing.
Kick by Morris to half forward. Big climb by Crocker. Missed with the punch. Osborne gets the hand pass out to Dundas running past. He centres this one in front of goals for Abbott. Abbott stays down, and is that a mark? It's paid. Wheeldon. Was paid the mark, wasn't it?
Oh, I think that he probably got a good grip of it, but there's a lot of opportunities like this where, yeah, see, it's...
Wouldn't want to be given out at cricket.
Well, that's right. You know, the umpires sometimes just put the whistle in their mouth, and before they really realise what's happened, they've blown it. And
so Wheeldon right in front for the first goal of the game, right through the middle.
So Fitzroy 1-1 lead, North Melbourne 2 behinds. Early part of the first term. Punch-aways by Mann. Now Ramiro quickly with the left foot up towards full forward. Longmire punched away by Lynch. Good defensive work now by Fitzroy. But now North Melbourne through McCarthy. Tries to get around the opposition player. And there's a free kick given. Well, John McCarthy maybe a little bit fortunate there. He's got the ball about 35 to 40 metres from goal. He grabbed his jumper, really. But McCarthy certainly within range. And there's a chance to post North Melbourne's first goal. Good kick by McCarthy, long, and I think it's home. It is. John McCarthy gets North Melbourne's first goal. So a quick reply, North Melbourne 1-2, lead Fitzroy 1-1. And we've got just over 11 minutes left. And having another look at this, I don't think there was much in that either, but McCarthy certainly took full advantage, and a lovely kick. Maybe the breeze just blowing it a little bit back to the left, but it was through the goals, no mistake.
Brendan Carlin to restart in the middle. Bounce favours Gallagher. Fitzroy come out with it. Hurriedly out of the middle by Satori. Bouncing ball. Brayshaw charges straight onto it. Loses it in a strong Osborne tackle. Rock leaves it behind. Martin gets rid of the tackler. Loses control of the ball. Brayshaw playing well up the ground. Off to Rock. North Melbourne moving it well. That's beautiful play. And a chance here for North through Dwyer. That's Anthony Dwyer, David's younger brother. Oh, Elliott gives away a poor hand pass. Taken by Rock. Little left footer. Lucky for Romero. The hand pass goes out wide to Dwyer. Dwyer from 50. Up towards the goal square. Across the face of goals and bouncing out of bounds.
Well, neither side really settling down. Halfway through the first quarter. Still a few fumbles, so the players, maybe this pressure is just up a notch or two from the games that they've played, practice matches. So it'll take maybe another quarter. Stevens, handball wide. Ruse, further still. Seacamp, beaten for it. Schwass nearly got it. Now McCarthy, away to Spargo. Spargo's left foot snapshot, misses to the left. And another behind on the scoreboard to North Melbourne. An unobtrusive possession gatherer, Paul Spargo. You probably look at the statistics at the end of a game of football and wonder, but he knocks up getting it over 20 times and certainly does his best to pump the ball forward for North Melbourne in the games that he plays. Had a shocking run with injuries. Lynch kicks in to the outside part of the ground. Schwass jumping high, couldn't control it, and we'll have a boundary throw in. That's Peter Mann in the background there, just running out of the picture. Now Stevens doing the ruck work, tries to take the ball out of the air. Chance for Broderick, tackled by Dwyer. Stevens has got it once again, kicks it quickly towards the wing. The mark is taken by Lyon, plays on and very cleverly gets the ball wide to Stevens. Maybe playing on the ball, Brett Stevens. The kick towards centre half forward, and a good mark taken by Blakey in front of Clarkson. No, it's a free kick. Shepherding maybe against the Fitzroy player in Wheeldon. So Brayshaw will kick it back towards the centre wing, and Carey can't quite take the mark.
It's
Not
a free.
Carey, it's Anthony Dwyer. And he's got the free kick on centre wing.
Kick to centre half forward. McCarthy streaming down the ground. Gets the spoil from Paxman. McCarthy's hand pass is blocked. Umpire Carlin seen something in there, a Fitzroy free kick. And it'll come back to Stephen Paxman. No. Across to Broderick. Short pass across the half-back line to Ruse. Be a great contest. Ruse and Carey, 2 stars. Osborne, last year's skipper, lost the job to Paul Ruse this year. Ball out of bounds at centre wing. Midway through the first quarter, nothing in it. North 1-3, Fitzroy 1-1. And North Melbourne with an excellent record in Foster's Cup. Grand finalist the last 2 years. Elliott only gets it about 5 metres. Dundas across to Brett Stevens. Great little hand pass through. Dundas again, just about throws it out to Satori. He pokes it up high to full forward. Wheeldon. Out in the forward pocket. Pretty shallow pockets here. Not like some people I know have got deep pockets, but this is a shallow pocketed ground, so you'd nearly be on the boundary line and have a pretty good look at the goals. Anyway, Wheeldon's about 8 metres in from the boundary line and really shouldn't have much bother with this from about 35 metres. Fitzroy trail by 2 points. And now lead by 4.
2-1 plays 1-3. Fitzroy by 4 points. Satori doing well in the ruck. German kicks North Melbourne out towards the wing. Leading in the race is Rock. Close behind was Elliott. Now a chance for Morrish. Forced to go back onto the left foot. He kicks it quite nicely in the finish. In towards centre half forward. Oh, what a great mark taken by Rossi Lyon.
Very good player is Ross Lyon. Perhaps lets himself down a little bit when gets into dust-ups. Kicking towards the forward pocket. Not a bad gather there by Satori. Away to Stevens. Kick across his body is marked by Peter German. Now North Melbourne will transfer play to the opposite side of the ground. The mark is taken by Spargo. Hasn't got anyone really to kick to on their own. Out in front, Dwyer takes a good mark. And he's back of the wing. Now he kicks it over in towards the centre. Centre half forward, Stevens, good punch from behind. Chance now for Broderick. Sweeping hand pass, gives Roos the chance. Little kick, not bad. Measured it beautifully. Oh, down goes Dundas. And Craig Scholl, you could be fortunate. No, he's going to get a 50-metre penalty. And fair enough too, because that was late and high. 50-metre penalty is going to bring Matthew Dundas up to within 20 metres of goal. So a bad error there by Craig Scholl. I don't think he'd be too happy with himself. There's no way known Dundas was going to kick a goal from where the incident happened. It was a pretty ordinary tackle by Craig Scholl. And Dundas capitalises and kicks another goal for Fitzroy.
Well, Coach Wayne Bush is wanting to work on North Melbourne's defence this year. Their attack has been good in the last few seasons, but defence has been costly. And that was a costly error in defence, the high tackle by Scholl. Back in the middle, another ball up after the centre bounce. So no restrictions, and you can throw a blanket over about 25 players here. Abbott charges at it. And Mann does pretty well for North Melbourne, helped on by Carey. Mann, number 20, played just 2 senior games last year. Roos grabs it for Fitzroy. It bounces end on end. 35 metres from goal. Wheeldon tries to tap on. He's bowled over. Satori well played. Into Dundas. Second goal in a minute. Smothered slightly off the boot and through for a behind.
Yeah, well, Fitzroy are looking just that little bit surer with their ball handling. They perhaps have settled down a little bit better than North Melbourne. And North not getting quite enough from their smaller players around the centre. Spargo in the back pocket. Takes the mark. Looking to kick it long and high towards centre wing. Roos punches from Carey. Again, Fitzroy have got the crumb gatherers. This time it's McCormack. Caught with the ball, but just gets his foot to it. Staritsky held around the neck. And Staritsky will take the free kick between half-back and centre wing. No one really to kick it to, so he's going to have to bomb away again. Towards half-forward, 2 players get back there for Fitzroy. Number 28 for North Melbourne, Anthony Dwyer, all on his own. Roos marks, handballs away to Stevens. Stevens' long kick towards the half-forward flank position. At the back, chance now for McRae. Can't do much with the footy. And his hand pass is eventually fumbled over the boundary line. Matthew Dundas looking for the free kick, but not forthcoming. So boundary throw in as Fitzroy make a change. Cormack comes on in place of Guard. Now, he nearly into the action straight away there, Joe Cormack. And McCormack dispossessed his own teammate. Now Joe Cormack gets into it again. Back to Roos. Roos in turn goes to Morris, who's been prominent early. Long kick by Morris to the half-forward line. And a good mark taken at the back by Clarkson, who in the old terms would only be about 5'10", 5'9", so it was a good effort by Clarkson in the finish.
Kick to half forward, Carey sandwich, can't take the mark. Crocker at the front is caught in a good tackle by Morris and holding the ball, says the umpire, even though eventually he was out of play. And Paul Morris, who was a recruit from Essendon this year, has been prominent early. The kick to half forward, Abbott palms it down and keeps going. Keeps it at the toe. Up to centre half forward. Brayshaw beaten by Wheeldon. He's kicked 2 already, Wheeldon. McCormack there. Cormack as well. Brayshaw's hand pass is blocked. Comes to Satori. They're only 35 metres from goal. Staritsky helps out teammate German. Off to Mann. Good running by Dennis. And the ex-Carlton Premiership player goes for a bounce. And he's chased by his teammate Satori. A good chase by Satori. Roos in the pack. Carey at the front. Play on. No mark. Carey goes back to Spargo. The crowd thought it was a mark. Spargo again. Burst the tackle. Off to Carey. Wayne Carey from 30 metres has kicked it.
Playing on and being in a position to take the hand pass from a difficult angle made the difficult shot easy in the finish. So the margin is now back to 5 points in favour of Fitzroy. They lead 3-2 to 2-3. And Lynch didn't quite see the incident that he got involved in. Maybe it was the crunch of players when Carey went for the mark. But he's starting to jog a little bit better as Ramiro clears the ball away from the centre bounce towards centre half forward. No mark taken. All players miss it. The bounce a little awkward. The umpire's picked a free kick out of it. Now the advantage rule is paid, and it certainly will be with Fitzroy because Osborne has it. He's on centre wing. He goes past Crocker pretty easily. Strong upper body, Richard Osborne. Does it pretty well. Nice drop punt kick up towards full forward, but getting back and taking a good mark in defence for North Melbourne is Craig Scholl. Scholl, Spargo making position, but Scholl kicks it long towards centre wing. Good mark in the finish, taken there for Fitzroy by Elliott. Away to McCormack. McCormack certainly will be a plus for Fitzroy after struggling a fair bit last year. Now Dennis kicks it across the goal, looking for Scholl. And it's a pun that I didn't intend, but Scholl has the football 50 metres from goal. He kicks it back towards the wing. Oh, through comes Seacamp, strong in defence. Now the chance for Stevens. Hand passes intercepted, and some desperate stuff there for North Melbourne by Dwyer. Or German, is it? It's young Dwyer. Gee, did he throw himself at it in desperation and broke it all down on centre wing.
His brother David never quite made it, but he's looking pretty good.
Yes,
Anthony.
my word. Half forward flank. He's having a good battle with Seacamp.
This is McCormack, kick smothered out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in. Great to see Brendan McCormack back. So many players out here today have missed a lot of football. Whistle's gone before the throw in. Play on. McCormack up to Blakey. Bounces inside the 50. Desperate defence by Brayshaw. Got the ball going forward Northway, but is gathered by Osborne. Richard Osborne dodging and weaving. Long kick for goal. Offline and misses to the right. Missed everything.
Well, Drew, that's a perfect example of you must keep chasing no matter what. Richard Osborne, a couple of North players could have given up the chase. He may have had a steady shot for goal and put it straight through the centre, but two North Melbourne players persevered. Richard Osborne knew they were there. Just puts him off a little bit, and the kick is sprayed badly and eventually out of bounds on the full. The ball has come back towards half-back flank for North Melbourne. It's about 60 metres from the Fitzroy goal. Oh, man got one in the face there from Abbott and knew it and told Paul Abbott about it. Ball goes up towards full forward for Fitzroy. Good mark taken at the back there by Dennis.
Is he going
Clever
well?
Football. Clarkson combining now with German. German looking to give the hand pass away. Running nicely from half-back. Kick towards half-forward, but a good mark by Seacamp, this time in front of Dwyer. Seacamp now kicks it in towards the centre. Abbott has made good position. A 6-goal in a grand final player, and there's a player that'll be a good one for Fitzroy this year also. Peter Satori marking up at full forward. Well, perhaps when you put players down on paper, Satori will be picked in the forward pocket, but he's going to be the main target for the high balls going into the forward line for Fitzroy. But with Wheeldon, Osborne, and well, they've now got some good goal-kicking ability up there. Satori kicks it beautifully straight through the centre for Fitzroy's 4th goal.
So Fitzroy giving a good account here and leading by 11 points. Helped out of the middle by McCormack. Onto Cormack, onto Dundas. Another goal coming up. Stevens run down by Romero. Gets the kick away. And good pressure by Romero. Made it a behind instead of a goal. That was looking for all money like a goal to Fitzroy in the closing 30 seconds of the quarter. Quite a West Australian look to the North defence with Brayshaw, Dennis and Mann. Kick in by Brayshaw. Over half-back flank. Bouncing ball gathered by Morrish. His hand pass astray. It comes to Mann. And up towards half-forward, chopped off by Elliott. Running out of time, there will be no further score. Here's Richard Osborne at centre wing. Sets off for a run. Siren will beat him for quarter time. And an entertaining quarter. And certainly Fitzroy giving a good account of themselves with 4 goals, 3-27, leading North Melbourne 2-3-15. Good quarter. Fitzroy 4-3-27. North Melbourne 2 goals, 3-15. Goal scorers Wheeldon kicked 2. Satori and Dundas each kicked 1. And for North, McCarthy and Carey were their goal scorers. Next game coming up in the Foster's Cup, a quarter-final match on Wednesday night at Waverley Park between the West Coast Eagles and Geelong, and what a game that should be. Coming up on 7 Sport, motor racing action. The Australian Touring Car Championship Round 1, it's on today, and it follows the football. Check your local guides for details. Also NASCAR and AUSCAR Nationals at Calder on the 1st of March next weekend. Well, it's a pleasure to welcome to the commentary box the North Melbourne chairman, Bob Ansett. Afternoon, Bob.
Thank you, Drew. Nice to be with you.
Now, we've had some clubs complaining about the pioneering efforts of coming to exotic places. North Melbourne quite happy to come and play Fitzroy here?
Yeah, sure. We've been doing this for a long time. We were one of the first teams to play in Sydney before Sydney came into the league, and we played in Darwin, we played in Canberra, we played almost everywhere in Australia, and we find it good. We think it's motivating for the players, and it's a good challenge for us.
And you always have a red-hot go in the Foster's Cup. Grand finalist the last 2 years, so you like to get a good start to the season.
It's particularly important for us because it does help us greatly with our membership drive, and that's why, particularly with this game being here in Tasmania today, in Hobart, that it's important for us to win it and then get out to Waverley next week against the Swans so that we can really promote our membership drive.
Richard Dennis has been a good game, but that's about the only change, really, to your lineup from last year, isn't it?
Well, I think you're starting to see a little bit of Peter Mann. Peter's going to be a good player for us. He was injured most of last season, so we're really looking upon this year as being his premier year for North Melbourne.
We're getting a shot there of Wayne Schimmelbusch. We're in the North Rooms just before the game. Gee, there's a premiership look about it. You've got Keith Gregg back after a 3-year absence. You've got Rodney Eade there, Frank Gumbleton. There's a few premierships around.
Yes, and John Law also, who's, we have made some significant changes off the field this year. And the acquisition of Keith Gregg as match committee chairman, and Rodney Eade as our assistant coach, and John Law as our reserves coach. So there's a whole new, with the exception of Wayne Schimmelbusch, a whole new coaching staff.
Has it been any concern that you've done so well in under-19s and that success in junior grades hasn't transferred to the league side?
Yes, in I guess the final analysis, even though we've brought up a lot of players through our under-19s, in fact out there today probably 60% of the team have come up through our under-19s, we haven't yet put it together for a challenge in the finals. And again this year we've got about 16 players that we brought up from last year's under-19s. About 4 or 5 will have to be cut later in the season. But it's going to be a very strong and young second side, which is pretty much our under-19s in 1991.
I'll be interested. What's your philosophy? I mean, you might improve 20% these days, but everybody else is improving. If they improve 30%, you've actually gone behind. Every year gets harder, doesn't it?
It is tough. I've never seen the competition as close as I believe it's going to be this year. And you look at all the teams, everyone has improved. So yes, it's much tougher, but we're looking for a 30% improvement this year, I can assure you. Last year was an aberration for us. We are a better team than we finished off last year.
Yeah, well, you lost 5 out of your last 7 to go from a finalist to 8th, didn't you?
That's right, and we lost 2 of our key forwards in Wayne Carey and in John McCarthy for almost half the season, and that made a big difference to us in the forward line.
Good luck, Bob. All
Thank
sounds
you.
pretty good for North.
Well, we're enthusiastic, quietly confident, let's put it that way.
Good on you. Match about to get underway in the second quarter. Thanks, Bob.
Okay, the second quarter about to start here at the North Hobart Oval. Fitzroy lead 4-3 to 2-3. And in this quarter, North Melbourne going to the right of screen. Chance now for Schwass to kick North Melbourne into attack. Up inside 50 metres, marking contest, and it's a good one in the finish to McCarthy. About 45 metres, maybe a little further from goal, but certainly within scoring distance. And won't it be a tonic for North to get the first goal of the second quarter? John McCarthy, such a talented player. High leaping half forward. Quick, agile, and kicks long but inaccurately, and it's through for 1 behind. McCarthy has 1-1 on the scoreboard personally. North Melbourne has 2 goals for, and the difference is 11 points. 4-3 to 2-4, that may be, yes, that's right, 4-3 to 2-4. The kick in, straight down the ground, looking for Ruse. Schwass did well. The kick by Rock up towards the half-forward area, and McCarthy marks once again. Leading into space is Spargo. McCarthy slips, and it was quite critical. Spargo had the break on Morris, but McCarthy now a shot for goal. Now, wheeled and kicked a goal from a similar position in the first quarter. McCarthy's kick into the square, but it's marked back there by Lynch, who looks as though he's recovered quite nicely from a heavy knock to the right leg in the first quarter. Alistair Lynch. A little bit of a question over whether he was going to be contracted by Fitzroy, but it's great to see these long-serving players stick with the club that they originally started with. Now Lynch under pressure. Ramiro, Elliott, brought to ground by Longmire. Good work by the full forward, working overtime to keep the ball in his team's full forward area. The umpire will call for a bounce. That's young Elliott, Fitzroy player. And the bounce is not a bad one. Roberts on the ground for North. Can't quite work out why he didn't start in the 18, but still, there you go. Back towards centre-half forward. Scholl has pulled off the football, so has Carey. Stevens can't get his kick clear. Some good scragging tactics in close quarters. Now Clarkson gets some space. Little pass is not bad. Away to Allison, who's on the ground as well. North have made a few changes at quarter time. Roberts running around in circles, goes back to Allison from an impossible angle. Brett Allison goes for goal and misses to the left. Through for another behind to North Melbourne. That's their second for the quarter. So their score progresses to 2-5. Fitzroy a 4-3. As we have a look at the interchange bench, that could be Wayne Schwass, is it?
Oh, he's out on the ground.
He's on the ground. Well, I did see Peter Mann come off the ground at quarter time, so he may be in a little bit of trouble.
Yes, we're not really to know the level of fitness of some of these players, but Brett Allison, another surprise that he didn't play the first quarter. Elliott, over his shoulder, out towards centre wing, bouncing close to the boundary line and out of bounds. Who'll ever forget that mark Allison took last year at the MCG?
A blinder.
He went up in the first quarter and came down in the third.
So I think he landed on the first floor of that new stand.
Stevens with a good punch away. Comes to Crocker. Down goes Dundas. Broderick that was. They've lost it. Here goes Jose Romero. Dumps it long to full forward. Chance for McCarthy. And he fumbles it through for a behind. John McCarthy back home. Ex-Tasmanian. Starred for Tasmania in a defeat of Victoria.
Well, there's a few ex-Tasmanians in AFL football all over the place, isn't there? They've produced some tremendous players over the years. That kick in has been marked by Crocker on the far side of the ground. He'll kick North Melbourne back to within scoring distance. A big jump, but Seacamp stood his ground pretty well. Allison, Ramiro. Now Seacamp will tidy up, and I like the look of him across half-back for Fitzroy. Martin fends the ball away from Ross Lyon, and I don't think there'll be too much love lost between those two very, very keen contesters of the football for their respective teams. Roberts, no, he's beaten for it. The ball comes to the back. Martin, handball over the top. Ramiro the chance to run onto it. It was a good hand pass. Ramiro's kicking towards full forward. It goes across centre half forward. Punched away by Lynch. Just goes a little casually at it. Now gives Longmire the chance. The ball comes to the back, and the player there, Paxman, under pressure, and all he can do is take the ball over for a boundary throw in. It's about 40 metres from the North Melbourne goal. Dundas will do the roving, the rucking, or whatever you like to call it. Tries to get the ball clear. Now it finishes with Baldwin. Baldwin off the left foot. Not a bad kick up towards centre wing. No mark taken. Dropping the football was Scholl. He perhaps could have taken that. I think he'd be a bit disappointed with himself, but the ball is bundled over for a throw-in. Just in front of the wing in Fitzroy's forward half. Martin doing the ruck work. Does it pretty well. Bounce awkward for McCormack. Good for Dundas. Slick handball. Abbott kicks it across to centre half forward. That's good play. They've got a chance of scoring from there. No. North Melbourne will turn it away. Scholl goes away to Brayshaw. In turn to Dwyer. Sweeping handball. Having to wait for the bounce was Carey. Carey's kicking towards full forward. Too high. At the back, Morris can't handle the football. Kick off the ground. Lynch was intelligent, and good fortune for Roos. Takes the mark and handballs away to Stevens. Stevens kicked to centre half forward. Is punched away back in towards the centre. Broderick knocks it on. Osborne handball to McCormack. McCormack brought to the ground but gets his kick away into the left forward pocket, and it's over for a boundary throw in about 15 metres around from the Fitzroy goal. They lead on the scoreboard 4-3 to 2-6.
Gee, the ball handling work of these teams, considering it's February, is remarkable, really. 20 years ago in February, they'd be running up and down sandhills. Abbott tries to slip the hand pass away, comes unstuck. McRae out of defence. He's a strong man, up towards centre wing. Seacamp works his way to the front, drops the mark, comes to Roberts. 2 against 2. Longmire and McCarthy there for North. Almost to McCarthy. Rock chips in. Longmire can't break the tackle. Hand pass wide to Carey. Carey, 20 metres from goal. Kicks it.
4-3 to 2-6, so there's only 3 points in it. Roberts, he seems to have lifted North Melbourne around that centre area a little bit. And the umpire will call for another bounce. He was a good player for North Melbourne last year, Mark Roberts, so maybe a couple of them have just got off to a slow start. Abbott doing the ruck work, gets it down to line. Oh, creative, brilliant, Stevens, and he pops it through for behind. Probably should have done a little bit better with that, Brett Stevens.
That was disappointing. He kicked 5 goals in the last round last year, Brett Stevens, against the Eagles, when Fitzroy upset the competition leaders. One of the greatest boilovers of all time.
My word. I think you said first time in 25 years that last has beaten first. Now North Melbourne get clear through Clarkson. Kick out towards the wing area. No mark taken. Now a chance for Rock. Good strength by the little fellow. Baldwin goes hard at the football. Allison, Elliott now for Fitzroy towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Who's the first to recover? Martin got hold of Dundas. Scholl, handball away. Roberts' handball was very ordinary. Lyons was brilliant. And now Broderick kicks into full forward. What can Wheeldon do? Oh, he nearly took a Dean Joneser in the forward pocket there. Now Satori, good knock on in towards the front of the goals, but Dennis gets back quickly. Handball over the top to Ramiro. Ramiro's got a player in support, Martin. He had to wait for it, but he's strong, Michael Martin, and he defends grandly, but the kick is ordinary. Back in towards the centre. Lyons' pass is a beauty. A little bit too fierce, though, for Satori. In goes Dundas, leaves it behind. Dennis is there for North Melbourne in the back pocket, and he scrambles his way out towards half-back, kicked off the ground by Martin, and he's dumped after he kicks it off the ground by Ross Lyon, and that's been on the cards for 6 minutes because those two boys had a little to do on centre wing a little earlier in this quarter. Now the free kick is with Roberts, and he kicks North Melbourne up towards half-forward. Martin's still in trouble behind play.
Longmire might have been pushed out by Lynch. Now Alistair Lynch has it. Play on, says the umpire, as he hand passes out of bounds. And we go back here to Michael Martin, still seeing stars, holding the ribs by the looks. Head, ribs, got him everywhere.
It was a good bump.
From the boundary throw in. Baldwin kick smothered. Chance for German. He meets Baldwin head on. Tell you, you're going to fox me this year in the one team. Baldwin and Morrish.
Exactly.
Very similar. That was right up and down, and he collected him with everything. It's Morris getting the hand pass out. Strong tackling. McCormack's there, and will take a free kick. Brendan McCormack at centre half back for the Lions. He comes out wide to Marcus Seacamp from East Perth. Taken second in the draft. Looks all right too. Kicked by Seacamp to half forward, looking for the height of Abbott. Coming from behind, Brayshaw missed with the hand pass. Wheeldon. Eventually, Scholl gets it out. Further hand pass up here by Allison Wilkes. Pressure football here, and the whistle's gone. There's going to be a free kick to Joe Cormack.
I'll tell you what, Dean McRae's a bit stiff. There was nothing against Ross Lyon on the outer side, and Dean McRae has been penalised for that.
Here's Martin, which is though he's recovered. Tough as teak. The kick to centre wing. Too far for Allison, and out of bounds on the full.
Yes, interestingly, it looked all right off the boot, but the ball just drifting with the breeze, and the free kick to be taken here by Baldwin. No, it's not. It's Morrish. Good one, Drew.
It's a trap.
You've got me confused already. Thank you. Pushed on by Cormack. Scholl there for North Melbourne. Kicks it back towards centre wing. Baldwin can't mark. Good opposition there by Schwass. Now Morrish just gets his left foot to the ball. The mark is taken. If it's not, it's a free kick to Lyon, And have a guess who it's against. Michael Martin. I think we're going to see some action there for the rest of the afternoon. There's a good mark taken by Crocker going back with the flight of the ball. And he's going to transfer play to the outer side. I don't know why. It's 2-on-1, but Dwyer does very, very well to spoil McCormack. Through comes Ruse. Handball a little too fierce for Osborne. Out goes Crocker, in goes Ruse. Boy, are they having a go here at the North Hobart Oval. North Melbourne and Fitzroy. And the difference between the two teams at the moment is only 4 points. 4-4 Fitzroy, 3-6 North Melbourne. But by golly, there's been a couple of fierce bumps in this second term in particular. Dwyer can't get through. Roberts has a chance. Handball over the top. Puts McRae under a little bit of pressure, but he coolly left foots it up towards half forward, and the mark is taken by German.
Kick by German to centre half forward. Longmire looking just a fraction slow today, but he gets there. Hand pass wide to Schwass. He is caught in a good tackle, holding the ball, and the free kick coming back to Baldwin. They've had some duels over the years. Jason Baldwin for Fitzroy. Up towards half forward. Satori looking to come from behind. Can't mark. Scholl loses control of it. Cormack, yes, ex-West Coast Eagle. Here goes Clarkson. Back to Roberts. Balked the hand pass. Good passing. Dwyer looks a classy unit. Proud father Laurie Dwyer down to watch North play here today. Morrish goes backwards to Elliott. Oh, beautiful. Abbott is 30 metres in the clear. Inside 50. Abbott goes for goal. Not a great looking kick, but I think the accuracy's there. A goal.
5-4 plays, 3-6. 8 minutes left. Satori doing the ruck work. Well, North Melbourne, you've got to ask a question once again here, like the height in that ruck contest. Mark Roberts up against Satori. There must be something wrong with Gallagher, who started on the ground in the ruck. And they still haven't been able to come to terms with filling that #1 ruckman position. Tim Burke not playing today, being drafted from Geelong. Maybe if he can come up fitness-wise, it could be a plus. Look at this dash. Lynch, brilliant football. Penetrating kick and a mark to Abbott. Plays on and misses. Well, I suppose if he kicks the goal, all the credits are then with Paul Abbott. If you miss, well, everyone says, why didn't you stop and have a set shot for goal?
Great dashing play by Lynch, who looked hurt in the first quarter, so it's really good to see him moving that well. One worry for North Melbourne could be the fact that Peter Mann is off the ground. He's a man who played only 2 games last year and then broke his leg, so let's hope it's not a serious injury to Mann. Baldwin. Long to full forward. Wheeled and kicked 2 in the first term. Spoiled this time by Brayshaw. Ball out of play for a throw-in about the 50-metre line. But Fitzroy leading by 11 points. A different-looking outfit from last year. They have height. There's Abbott going in ruck and also on the forward line. It's not the same team who was belted by about 150 points by Hawthorn down here at North Hobart last year. And in the Foster's Cup, they were thrashed by Carlton. In fact, every trip they made down here last year to play home games in Hobart, they were easily beaten. Here goes Brayshaw towards the outer side, looking for German. Spoil comes from Morrish. Helped up the ground by Osborne, but chopped off by Martin. Martin to centre half forward with the kick. McCarthy's had a few runs, but yet to do anything decisive. This time he grabs the mark. He kicked 1 goal in the first quarter, John McCarthy.
Well, maybe he judged it probably better than everybody else there. At least he had a good look at it coming in, and in the finish took an easy chest mark.
6 possessions so far. He kicks from just inside 50, and it gets away from him for a behind. Disappointing result.
Yeah, well, down to that end, the Breeze seems to be playing a little bit of havoc with the players shooting for goal. That ball looked all right off the boot and then just drifted away to the right. The kick in has found Baldwin. Baldwin's kick off the left is not too bad. Good gather by Crocker, well done. Round onto the left foot, he kicks it back to where Baldwin had just kicked it for Fitzroy.
He's gone for a repeat of last year, Allison.
The screamer?
He went for the screamer. That time he was up and down before acceptance.
And I tell you what, it has happened for 30 years. You take one screamer and all of a sudden, I can do it again and again and again. Boundary throw in, right half forward for Fitzroy. Now a chance for Dwyer. Dwyer's kick across the front of the goals. No mark taken. Fitzroy defence now under pressure. Carey looking for the free kick. Kick off the ground. It's a goal. Goal to North Melbourne. Kicked by...
Sydney Swans boys there. Gary Buckenara, who last year was assistant coach at Fitzroy when they came down in the Foster's Cup and during the season. Ball going out of bounds up towards half forward, and with Gary Buckenara there, Kevin Egan, who this year left Essendon to go to Sydney. And a good performance yesterday by the Swans. Give them heart for the season. Oh, here's an injury. That doesn't look too good for Seacamp. He went straight down then, number 3, wearing the Gary Pert number. Don't tell me he's hurt. Here's a snap by Allison. It goes through for a goal. And this doesn't look good for Marcus Seacamp.
Yes, well, you picked it in one. It's a knee. Spargo's right leg crashing into Seacamp's right knee. And you mentioned he went straight down. So he'll come off the ground. And we'll just have to wait and see if it's serious or not. Rock gets the ball away for North Melbourne. Mark probably should have been taken by Morris, but he's quick enough to recover. Free kick has been picked out of it. It's going to North Melbourne to be taken by Delina. Delina, with 5 minutes left in this second quarter, up towards full forward. That's a mark, Longmire. He was at the back, but certainly had a good grip of it. There's Seacamp off the ground, and he's been replaced by Caven.
Wouldn't that be cruel? The #1 draft pick hurt in the first official outing of the year.
Yeah, well, you know, it was knee on knee, on the right on the kneecap, so maybe it might be just a nerve or something. Let's hope it's not too bad. Longmire's kick misses to the right, and that's another example of the players not contending with whatever breeze there is. We did go down to ground level before the match, and it didn't look as though there was all that much wind blowing. And what it was blowing to that far side wing, but the players at that end of the ground having a little trouble coming to grips with it. Morrish, handball away to Paxman, and Paxman clears for Fitzroy.
Towards the outer wing. Martin with Stevens, and Martin punches away. The ball goes out of bounds, and we'll have a throw-in. And here's Seacamp on the bench for Fitzroy. And then they start looking at knees, or... oh, I can feel it from here. Roberts a bit slow. Then goes off the ground and gains about 30 metres. Roos chops it off. Good hand pass. Over the top goes Abbott to Cormack. Joe Cormack's kick towards half forward. Past Satori it goes. Crocker charges at it for North. North leading by 3 points. McCarthy got a hand to it, and running onto the ball is German. He steers the left footer to Longmire. Pulled off it by Lynch, no whistle. Paxman thumps up the ground. Ross Lyon goes for the hand pass from a prone position to Cormack. Bumbling kick along the ground up towards the wing. Cormack ducking a high tackle. Keeps it going. No great distance with that kick. Rock there for North Melbourne. Off hands it goes to Osborne. Richard Osborne in the centre square. Wheeled and one out with Brayshaw. Brayshaw the punch. McRae beaten by Satori. Great left-handed hand pass to Baldwin, who beats his man, steps inside 50 and goes for goal. A ripper.
Fitzroy 41, lead North Melbourne 38. Storitsky, handball, Spargo under pressure from Osborne. Stevens leaves it behind. Storitsky over the top of Osborne. Now a chance for North Melbourne. No, the bounce is ordinary for Spargo, but McRae's in there to help him out. The kick goes back towards the centre where McCormack marks. Kicks at the centre half forward where Cormack marks. That doesn't happen too often. McCormack and Cormack. And just after he kicks the ball to Cormack, Brendan McCormack is being replaced. So Joe Cormack with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. McCormack has been replaced by Guard. Cormack's kick is not bad, right up to the line. It's helped over for a behind to Fitzroy. So they extend their lead by just that one behind. They now lead by 4 points. And Seacamp, maybe a little good fortune there for Fitzroy's star recruit from Western Australia. He may just have a jarred knee. That mark taken by Satori at half forward, and he'll kick the Lions back into attack.
And easy defensive mark taken by Crocker. Abbott getting underneath the ball. Kick by Crocker back towards the centre of the ground. Guard number 6. Hand pass comes out. Baldwin. On he goes to Broderick. His left footer to the edge of the square. Abbott.
Oh. How good a Hawthorn when they can let a bloke like this go. I know he was probably a little suspect after that bad leg break, but he's tall and he can take a mark.
Yep, certainly. So Paul Abbott coming in for his second goal. And Fitzroy go further in front.
Fitzroy lead by 10 points close to half-time, and it has been Fitzroy's match so far. They probably looked a little cleaner with their delivery. Kick off the ground comes from Schwass towards half-forward. Overrunning it, Delina. Rock in there. Chance now for Blakey. Johnny, they call. Well, good gather by Cormac. Left foot kick by that player towards half-forward. Fitzroy mark. And it's a good one taken by Caven. So they're producing a few fellows, Fitzroy, that are not really household names, but they're doing a good job. That's a neat-looking kick by Caven to the front of the goals. Is that a mark to Satori? It's been paid. By golly.
Abbott and Satori together on the forward line. Gee, they could carve up some defences this year.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether they can really afford that, because one of them obviously has to play in the ruck, but it just gives the players up the ground that are kicking into the forward line that bit of confidence that, OK, maybe they won't take 10 marks during the game, but if they take 4 or 5, it gives them the chance to, with that firepower, to kick a winning score. And Satori makes no mistake. For Peter Satori's second goal, close to half-time, gives Fitzroy a 16-point advantage. 8-6 plays 5-8, and with only 3 seconds remaining, you would find it very difficult to accept that there'll be any further score. Satori getting one grab, then a second grab over Roberts, being awarded the mark, and he made no mistake from about 25 metres out directly in front. So the play recommenced back in the centre. There won't be too much in this. Spargo pulled off the ball. There's the siren to end the first half. And it's been fairly entertaining between Fitzroy and North Melbourne in the last qualifying round of the Foster's Cup. The winner of this will play the Sydney Swans at half-time. Fitzroy lead 8-6 to 5-8.
Fitzroy giving North Melbourne a bit of a surprise, but followers of pre-season form mightn't be too surprised. The Lions 8-6-54, North 5 goals 8-38. Leading goal scorers for Fitzroy, Satori, Wheeldon and Abbott each have 2, and the dual goal kicker for North Melbourne is Wayne Carey, who's kicked 2.
Well, it's shaping up as yet another intriguing year of football. Yesterday we looked at half the AFL sides. Let's have a look at the rest.
The Premiership Cup will travel the Nullarbor on a regular basis during the 90s, but when is the big question. Hawthorn exposed a couple of Eagles' weaknesses in last year's finals, but Malthouse has acted quickly to rectify the situation. A more mobile ruck option in Harding and Trent Nichols, a roving goal sneak, have bolstered the Eagles' already expansive wealth of talent. Mitchell White should provide that extra tall backman that was sorely missed in last year's grand final, and the natural development of their many budding champions will make the Eagles even tougher to beat this year. The Crows are another unknown quantity this year. They missed out on some big-name expatriates, in particular Stephen Kernahan, and must look within for improvement. Scott Hodges was disappointing last year, but has knuckled down over summer and could well turn it on this year. Sean Wren is a star of the future, and Jamison and Klug are talented forwards who could improve again this year. Ben Hart, Anthony Ingerson and Brenton Sanderson are young players from South Australia's Teal Cup squads, and they're expected to fire this year. And speaking of fire, perhaps the Crows player should change his name by Depol. After a disappointing season last year, Fitzroy have added some much-needed height to their forward line, picking up Hawthorn Premiership player Paul Abbott and Peter Satori, a part-time full forward from Carlton. In a complicated three-club deal, the Lions lost Darren Kaplan of the Swans, but will be bolstered by the return of Michael Gale following a serious knee injury. Paul Roos has regained the captaincy after a fine season in '91, and Richard Osborne has set himself for a big year. The Lions will again play 3 games in Hobart and will be a far more competitive outfit. The Bears created history last year with a win in the reserve grade grand final, and many older players were given their marching orders to make way for the talented youngsters. After missing out on Salmon, the Bears persuaded Rendell out of retirement to bolster the big man department. Armat and Francis from Northern Territory, John Hutton, a full forward from Claremont, and ex-Pyman Colin Alexander are certain to make names for themselves this year. Wells doesn't expect miracles, but they are on the right track, building a solid foundation for their move to the Gabba next year. North Melbourne was expected to take a quantum leap up the ladder last year, but could not produce quite enough good form and just missed the finals. This year, they've appointed the legendary Don Scott to assist Gallagher and new recruit Tim Burke in the ruck, and Richard Dennis, Peter Mann and Brad Scholl are other new faces at North Melbourne. Last year, there were some unbelievable moments of brilliance and some memorable victories that teased their loyal supporters. But a more consistent work rate is needed if they are to succeed this year. They remain very much a wild card.
At half-time at North Hobart Oval, Fitzroy leading North Melbourne by 16 points in the Foster's Cup. And now Gerard Healy continues his preview of season 1992.
St Kilda returned as a power last year after many years in the wilderness. Ken Sheldon has worked the draft well in his 2 years as coach and has again picked up some talented players. Bingham from Hawthorn and Geelong pair Fletcher and Flanagan were pre-draft choices that will bolster the Saints' centre square options. Claremont's premiership player Robert Malone should also press for senior selection, but there's no doubt the fortunes of the Saints rest with the big hands of Tony Lockett. If he plays a full season, the goal-kicking record will be his, and the Saints just may win the flag. The boys from Victoria Park came back to earth with a thud last year, but have done very well in pre-draft trading. Gary Pert was secured in a controversial deal with Fitzroy, and along with Williams, could be considered the recruiting coup of the year. Brads Hardy and Rowe were given the Order of the Sword from the Bears last year, but have another chance under Matthews. Sean Watson, a skinny kid from the Teal Cup, was impressive in Darwin and is a potential star in front of goals. If the Pies can solve their troubles up forward, they'll be back to their best this year. Geelong were desperately unlucky in last year's finals, and Blight's move to full-time coach indicates the seriousness of their campaign this year. There aren't many new faces at Geelong, but there's enough talent at Cardinia Park to suggest they'll be a serious challenger for the flag this year. Bairstow takes over the captaincy from Buse, and Gary Ablett is expected to continue at centre-half back, with Stoneham and Brownless the big guns up forward. Geelong must win a premiership soon, before their opportunity vanishes. Footscray have added Toohey, Campbell and Jackson to add a little experience, but if they are to improve on their 9 wins of last year, their young players must take the next step. Cameron, Grant, Ballantyne and the ever-enthusiastic Charles have all shown great promise, and the talented Adrian Campbell is back from injury. Wheeler has set aside the challenge of winning the Foster's Cup and were impressive first-round winners against Melbourne. If they continue to improve, they may just answer Wheeler's challenge. It was a typically savage reaction at Princess Park to their worst result in history. Frustrated by the draft's restrictions, Carlton responded by securing champion centreman Greg Williams in a complicated deal completed at the 11th hour. Rumour has it that they also tried to recruit another team via the stock market, but North Melbourne has closed their ranks, frustrating that idea. Spalding should be a big asset to the Blues, and Silvani, back from injuries, is a virtual recruit. The Commission's decision on Williams was tough and has set back the Blues' revival chances. But if they can field their strongest team for most of the year, they'll be thereabouts at the end of round 24.
Well, I hope you're happy with your side's summer preparation. West Coast, Hawthorn and Geelong look certainties, and possibly St Kilda. But there's plenty of room for your side in the finals. The Premiers, well, I'll see you here in September to find out.
just a few spots of rain falling during the half-time break, as the players are about to resume after half-time. Well, Fitzroy leading this by 16 points and giving North Melbourne a bit of a surprise, and the statistics might bear out what's happening.
Well, there's not much in it really, Drew. I mean, the kicks, the handballs, marks, the only thing really is the hit-outs in favour of Fitzroy, and I think that you can read into that the acquisition of Satori and Abbott for the Lions certainly has just helped them a little bit in the height stakes, and they've done pretty well. Gallagher, who started on the ground in the first quarter, has got his left leg heavily bandaged, so maybe he's got a bit of a problem. They're going to start this third term with Michael Gallagher on the ball, and still North Melbourne struggling for their #1 ruck position. They need Tim Burke, who they have recruited from Geelong, a tall boy, to come good from injury and form, and maybe he can help them out.
Umpire Mark Prince gets us away for the second half here as the rain just gets a little bit heavier. Hard ball, one in the middle by Dwyer. High to half forward. Elliott takes a defensive mark for the Lions. 8-6 to 5 goals 8. Fitzroy leading at a 50-metre penalty.
Silly play by Carey. The boy had taken the mark, Elliott, and he grabbed him and knocked the ball out of his hand, and the umpire was quite correct in giving the 50-metre penalty there.
Just on the front edge of the centre square. Kicks about 50 metres. Satori a chance. Wrestling with his former Carlton teammate, and Richard Dennis gets the free kick.
Dennis is in the back pocket. He's going to transfer play to this near side. It's a good kick too. Martin can't quite mark. The opposition coming from Lyon. Handball over the top goes to Gallagher. It came from Staritsky. Clarkson did well. Could see he was going to be tackled. Knocked the ball forward, and in the finish, the tackler, and it was Ross Lyon. He acknowledges from the umpire that the decision was accepted. So Clarkson will take the free kick at half-back flank for North Melbourne. North Melbourne need to kick the first 2 goals of this quarter. The kick up towards centre-half forward. It's punched away from Carey by Morris. Gallagher has the football. That left leg very, very heavily strapped, and we were told that there's nothing wrong with him. Well, if he sat out the second term, and he's by far the tallest player for North Melbourne down here at North Hobart, well, and there's nothing wrong with him, I don't know. The match committee have got a few problems. The ball goes back in towards the centre. Good effort there by Scholl. He couldn't break clear, and the umpire giving the player the benefit of the doubt there, and he calls for a bounce just wide of the centre circle. Still in the square, in North Melbourne's forward half. Bounces the ball. Gallagher gets the tap out. Goes down towards Delina. Kick off the ground by Rock. Goes up towards full forward. And a good effort by Longmire. Nearly takes the mark. Not paid. Ball comes wide towards half forward. Carey gathers. Kicks it across his body. Hooks it. Not quite far enough. And it's through for 1 behind. So the first score of the third quarter goes to North Melbourne, a behind to their centre half forward Wayne Carey's kicked 2 goals 1, and light rain now falling at the North Hobart Oval.
Alistair Lynch appeared to be injured in the first quarter, but has recovered pretty well. Straight up the centre with his kick in. Oh, that's pretty dangerous, and Crocker chips in to take the mark for North Melbourne. They'll have been revved up at half-time by Wayne Schimmelbusch, no doubt, the Kangaroos. Not a great kick by Crocker. Longmire, though, almost a good mark. Offhand Schwass, and a goal.
8-6 plays 6-9. The first goal of the second half coming through Wayne Schwass for North Melbourne. A quick kick, picked up there by Crocker. In towards the full forward area. Longmire punched away by Lynch. The rebound is forced over for a boundary throw-in, and it's well within scoring distance for North Melbourne once again. So I think you may have been right, Drew. Surely, well, the players would know themselves that they had to lift in this second half. Their performance, North Melbourne's in the first half, fairly ordinary. Dundas on the bottom of the pack. And the players just having a bit of a go at each other there, Dundas and Carey. The umpire will be forced to call for a bounce. Morris just niggling away at Carey. Umpire having a bit of a look at the two of them. Good punch by Mann. Picked up by McCormack. Kick goes wide towards half-back, and it trundles over for boundary throw-in. Been a little bit lucky with the weather, that we've had threatening clouds hanging over the top of Hobart since we arrived here fairly early this morning. There's Michael Gallagher in the ruck. Brett Stevens at the back, trying to get the big leap. Gallagher gets the tap. It's ineffective. On the bottom there is Dundas, and the umpire will call for a bounce.
That's an interesting system where Brett Stevens leaves the forward line to go rucking, and it leaves Abbott and Satori in key positions on the forward line if Fitzroy to win this in centre field.
Fair enough. Well, basically what a ruckman has to do is really nullify the opposition, and if there's any dominance, well, it's a plus for you. Carey, the kick is good towards centre half forward. It's picked off by Blakey. Blakey's kick goes wide. Now the race is on between Schwass and Baldwin. It's bouncing awkwardly. Schwass gets his foot to the ball and kicks it over on the full, so the free kick will be taken for Fitzroy by Baldwin. Yes, a fearless centre bounce rucking. All you need to do is make sure that the other guy doesn't get a really effective tap out, and then your midfielders, you know, the 6-footers and 6-foot-1ers that can run a bit, certainly the pressure's applied there. And what you're saying is that it gives a chance, if they can move it quickly, you've got two good high-marking, strong players in the key positions.
Well, here they go again. Stevens, not in the race as far as height with Gallagher, but he can leap and make a contest of it with him. This time Gallagher does win it and get it to Allison. Up towards centre half forward, Carey nudged out. It's tapped backwards. After it is Dundas. This is dangerous. Rock the hand pass through to Longmire. Shot for goal is offline. John Longmire for a behind. And so far goalless. I've got him for 2 behinds. But still, North Melbourne are doing all the scoring at the start of this third quarter. Fitzroy haven't added, and North Melbourne so far have added 1 goal too. So not much in it, just 8 points the difference.
The kick in towards the centre. A big punch from behind. Now a chance for North Melbourne. Rock is on the end of the hand pass. Kick in towards centre half forward. Good. Mann marks. And that was rather indiscreet, but Mann has the football. And he'll be kicking from the 50-metre line by the time he gets up close to the man on the mark. So he's got a chance. Not a bad kick for distance, and accuracy is there as well. Good goal to Peter Mann.
Good to see Peter Mann on the ground. I was a bit worried about him in the second quarter. Thought he might have been injured. So he's taking his place on the forward line. Here's a free kick to North Melbourne, to Gallagher. He goes by hand to Schwass. North have lifted their game in this third quarter. Kicked by Schwass. Oh, great mark, Carey.
Well, he is an aerialist, isn't he, Wayne Carey? And if North Melbourne are to be any force this year, they certainly need big performances by Carey, McCarthy and Longmire up on that forward line. When they fire, North Melbourne certainly kick a score that's well worthy of winning a match.
Well, McCarthy last week kicked 6 against Essendon in a practice game, and Longmire kicked 8. This is Wayne Carey, kicking from 52 metres. Measures the kick. Doesn't quite get the distance. Longmire keeps it in for Allison. And somehow it's still in and right across the face of goals. Actually hit the behind post, and it's a throw in.
Yes, well, gee whiz, the weather changes just as drastically down here as it does in Melbourne.
Wouldn't have thought it was quite Arctic yet.
No. Ruck contest in the right forward pocket. Morrish under pressure, can't get his foot to the ball. Good defensive work by Rock, but Stevens comes clear. Short kick to the advantage of Baldwin, but he's tackled by Schwass, and effectively tackled by Schwass. And the ball trundled over for a boundary throw-in. Right half forward for North Melbourne. They've kicked 7-10-52. Fitzroy 8-6-54. The Lions by 2 points. Early part of the third quarter. McCarthy high over the top. Schwass picks up the crumbs, and with a right foot kicks it long but offline, and it's out of bounds on the full in that right forward pocket. Kick to be taken back there by Paxman. Stephen Paxman for Fitzroy kicks it out towards half back on that outer side. No mark taken. Trying to get through is Delina. Actually played with Fitzroy, Carl Delina. The kick goes into the forward pocket, but it's too far, and it's over on the full. So the free kick will be taken in that back pocket once again by Paxman.
Coming up for his 5th kick. Hugging the boundary line. Roos at the back with McCarthy. Schwass gets the hand pass into McCarthy. Brushes off Baldwin. Now Lyon away to Abbott. Good running by Broderick. Up towards half forward. Wheeldon. And at the back, Satori. 35 metres out. He paddles on cleverly for Osborne. Dundas is there. Off to Wheeldon. Wheeldon's hand pass forward for Broderick. Caught in the tackle. Holding the ball, says the umpire. And that was a red hot.
How bad was it? Broderick had to do what he was going to do, and all he was going to do was run into trouble.
Had it for about 1/15 of a second.
And he's penalised. Back in towards the centre. Fitzroy may tidy up here. Morrish is first back. Little hand pass goes wide. The player receiving is Elliott. Long kick into the pocket. Broderick's there. Well done. He's recovered beautifully. Handball away to Lyon. Lyon may kick a goal for Fitzroy. Long kick by Ross Lyon. Into the pocket. And it's punched away by Dennis. Over for a boundary throw-in. Right forward pocket for Fitzroy. It's their first real chance to score in this third quarter. 8-6 plays 7-10. Satori, that could have nearly been a free kick, but he gets rid of Dennis, and left foot kick by Satori just misses to the left. And Satori now has kicked 2 goals, 1 in that score line for Fitzroy of 8-7. Lions by 3 points, just over 12 minutes left in this third quarter. Mark Brayshaw to kick the ball back into play, electing to come to this near side. Not a bad kick either. Gets good distance. Gallagher can't control it. It goes over, we'll have another boundary throw in.
Gee, North might have expected more from their forwards today. After a scratch match last week against the Bombers, they kicked 13 goals to nothing in the last quarter to win by 56 points. And here they are, 7 goals 10 halfway through the third quarter. And we'll make the allowances that I don't think Kevin Sheedy had all his league players on the ground in that last quarter. Still, North would have been pretty confident. The forwards had a feast, 13 goals to nothing in the quarter. Carey takes it out, and here's Wayne Carey, a forward, way back, half back. Now Abbott goes in against Gallagher. Gallagher wins that well to Staritsky. High ball to centre wing. Oh, Stevens over the top. I'm not quite sure the ball didn't touch the ground, but the umpire's paid the mark.
I'll give him 9 out of 10 for effort.
Kicked by Brett Stevens, just to the 50-metre line. Dundas with courage. He nipped in there and gets around the man on the mark, Staritsky. Away goes to Lyon. Second pot shot for goal for the quarter. Offline again, behind.
Bad play there by Dundas, backing himself to try and get past 2 opponents and creating a situation for Lyon, and he just missed on the left-hand side. Brayshaw now. I suppose there's a fair amount of depending on this game for both sides. Both teams trying to get points for membership and sponsorships and what have you. And neither side giving an inch. The defensive work by both teams has been pretty good. Armstrong is on the ground now for Fitzroy. Just in the back of the picture there, Gallagher. Stevens gets the punch down. And still nothing can be done on this near side. That's Clarkson in the picture there with Dundas.
Yeah, Matthew Armstrong after a knee reconstruction. So we wish him all the best.
Good punch by Gallagher. Equally as good a punch, if not better, by Osborne. Cormac nearly beats Martin, but Martin with determination. He's dispossessed. Dundas handballs away. Cormac, Baldwin, up towards full forward. It goes through everyone. Scholl's the first to get back, and he runs across the face of goal and gives away a behind. Slipping as he tried to clear the ball, and the percentage there for Craig Scholl was to give it a behind away to the opposition. And I've marked it to Craig Scholl. Instinctive thing there. Brayshaw kicks in, half-back area. Marcus to Lyon. Rather casual, but it's been paid in front of Michael Gallagher, so Fitzroy will go back into attack. They lead 8-9 to 7-10. 10 minutes left in this third quarter.
Big pack here, out from goal. Satori tries to palm it down. Delina gets the hand pass back to Clarkson. Kicked by Clarkson to centre wing and Rock. There's Armstrong, pushed over. We'll get a free kick for that, Matthew Armstrong. Good to see him back. Spent the first half on the bench and pretty well into the third quarter. Kick to half forward. Martin juggles the mark. 9.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Fitzroy leading by 5 points. Flakey can't take the mark. at the back. Delina comes back. Staritsky. Kick well smothered. That was by Elliott. Clever by McCarthy. Delina bowled over when he didn't have it. No whistle on the play. Dwyer charging through the pack. The hand pass astray. Taken by Armstrong. Now off to Morris or Baldwin, would you reckon?
First.
Morris.
Right.
It's identical twins, I reckon. Crocker. The hand pass out of bounds.
I tell you what, the sooner they get numbers on their front left-hand side of the chest, the better off we'll all be, eh, Drew? There's a North Melbourne in trouble. Staritsky, is it? Or Darren Crocker? Might be Darren Crocker in trouble. Wheeldon has been taken off the ground for Fitzroy, and Gallagher has been replaced for North Melbourne. And Crocker has recovered. He's still in the hands of the trainers, but he looks to be okay as the mark is taken at centre half back for Fitzroy by Lynch. He handballs it away. Now Baldwin kicks it long towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Lyon. And Ross Lyon coming into the play nicely now in this third quarter. Very creative player is Ross Lyon. He hooks the kick in towards centre half forward, and it breaks down because Peter German has taken the mark. That could have nearly been 50 metres, but umpire gives the Fitzroy player Armstrong the benefit of the doubt. German's kick towards centre half forward. Good mark taken by Roos. Judged it nicely. Away to Blakey. Blakey's kick gives Armstrong the chance to run for it, but German beats him to it and kicks it off the ground in front of himself, and it goes over for another boundary throw-in. Well, here's Darren Crocker in trouble down here in front of us as he's taken to the ground by Richard Osborne. It's a solid bump, similar to the one that Ross Lyon put on Michael Martin in the second quarter. Armstrong now away to Broderick. Broderick's kick is disciplined to the front of the goals. Satori can't mark. Good interception by Dennis. Goes after it again. Lyon just doing a little shepherd. No one there for Fitzroy. Osborne the first to get back. Tackled by Dennis was good. Well done, Richard Dennis. Determination. And he way to Clarkson. In turn to Staritsky, who's recovered. Hand pass goes to Dwyer. Dwyer may go for goal from 50 metres. And he does, but it's brilliantly gathered by McCarthy. Left and right, then handballs away. Clarkson's caught with the footy. Fitzroy will get clear. Elliott, hand pass. Roos slips over. He's able to recover. Oh, in goes a couple there. And the umpire will call for a bounce.
What great play by Richard Dennis. He was a high leaping forward at Carlton, and he looks like being a very nice defender for North Melbourne.
Well, it's good to see that he can carry on his senior AFL career. He was crippled with a knee injury a couple of years ago after playing very well in the, I think it was the 87 grand final victory that Carlton had over Hawthorn. Here's a kick out towards half back. Stevens can't mark. Crocker goes after it again. Can't do much with the footy. Boundary throw in.
In fact, it was a high leap and a mark that destroyed his knee. When he landed, it just shattered.
Yeah, it's a bit of bad luck for him.
57 plays 52. We haven't had a score for about 5 minutes. Osborne goes back over his head. German and Cormack meet head on. The ball out of play again. Well, I think what both of the coaches would be looking to do this year is build a defensive side to the game. And that's what we're getting here today. 8 goals to 7. And a pretty low scoring, torrid affair with the defences holding up well. And once again, the umpire will have to ball it up.
So I think a lot of the creative players are being negated out of the game. Most of the players around the centre 50-metre, say, radius from the centre circle have been negated out of the game, and there's just no linking being done. Dundas kicks it into the half-forward area. The loose ball, Brayshaw gets back and kicks it into an empty space. Schwass could have gathered it, but decided on a punch. Then a second punch. Baldwin after it, but Schwass kicks it out of mid-air. Good gather by Cormack, and his kick lands in the arms of Satori. Satori is about 30 metres, maybe 35 metres from goal, directly in front, and should not have any trouble with the distance. Peter Satori has played a reasonable game for his team. Drop punt kick. Hits the post. 2 goals, 2 to Peter Satori. Fitzroy have joined North Melbourne on 10 behinds, but they lead by that goal advantage. 8 to 7. Brayshaw kicks in, goes straight up the ground. It's a little high, but Dennis is able to chip in and take the mark at centre half back.
Kicked by Dennis out towards centre wing. McCarthy is there. Roos climbs all over him. Dwyer, Anthony Dwyer, has looked a star in the making here today. His little left footer bounces up to the 50. Morrish goes backwards with his hand pass. Lynch out of defence. Back to the wing. Lyon climbs, and Roos as well, but there was a push out. There'll be a North Melbourne free kick to Scholl.
It's Ross Lyon in jumping, put his hands right in the middle of the North Melbourne player's back to push himself or thrust himself into the air.
Dean McRae takes it. Longmire gets underneath. Big climb by Mann. Comes to the front to Allison. He's on the right boot, which is not his right boot. Offline. Did you follow that?
It was a good one, actually. I think we know what you're talking about. Brett Allison, a natural left foot. But there was no way known he was going to be able to kick it with that left foot. And hooked it a little bit too far in the finish. And kicked his second behind. He's kicked the goal. Lynch goes to the far side, looks out there for Blakey, chipping in as Schwass, and Wayne Schwass has taken the mark about 50 metres from goal, and the angle will be one of his greatest contentions. But if he kicks this, North Melbourne will be in front by 1 point. 8-10 to 7-11. I get the impression that the wind might be right behind him with this kick, so he shouldn't have any trouble with the distance. Not a bad kick. It is a beautiful kick by Schwass.
Well, the Foster's Cup is a knockout competition. The loser says bye-bye, and it's 1 point the difference. North Melbourne in front. McRae wrestles his way out of it with strength. Crocker keeps it going forward. McCarthy away to Roberts. He goes for a long bomb. Roberts, a tremendous kick just offline. And North lead by 2 points after they trailed by 16 at half-time.
Who would ever forget Mark Roberts' performance last year against the Eagles at the MCG when he played a terrific game. North Melbourne beating the Eagles when the Eagles were red-hot favourites. And Mark Roberts was one of the players responsible.
So both these teams beat the Eagles last year, which is no mean
in the second half of the season. Yep. There's a good mark has been paid to Darren Crocker just forward of the centre, and he'll kick North Melbourne back to very near the square. Punched away on the bottom of the pack there. Fitzroy defence working very, very hard. It was Paxman. He couldn't get the ball clear. And the umpire will call for a bounce. The North Melbourne a real chance to score from here. It's only about 20 metres from their goal. Roberts working hard, got his left foot to the ball and kicked to behind, and that could have nearly gone the other way. Through for a major score to North Melbourne. They're 8-13 to 8-10. Lynch preparing to kick the ball back into play. No one really to kick it to. He's going to go in the Paxman direction. Paxman can't quite mark it. Dundas away to Roos. Roos forced to kick quickly. High back towards centre half forward. North Melbourne in good position here. And it's Craig Scholl who marks at between half back flank and the centre of the ground. He kicks it towards centre half forward. Not bad either. Good play there for North Melbourne by Mann. He worked very, very hard in the marking contest, then got to ground level. Now Broderick away to Osborne. Osborne in turn goes to Roos. Roos leading from the centre half back position. Kicks it towards full forward. Now the race is on. No, the umpires call play to a halt. I thought he may have let that go because Caven looked as though he's going to run onto it, and he's brought the ball back for Satori to take the free kick at centre half forward. Well within scoring distance for the Lions. Peter Satori has kicked 2 goals. Chance for his third. Well, he hooks the kick. Then it comes back with the breeze and goes through for a goal to Fitzroy.
So another change in the lead. Fitzroy up by 3 points after their first goal for the term. Umpire will have to ball it up again. We have just over a minute and a half remaining in the third quarter. Anyone's game, this. First round match in the Foster's Cup. North Melbourne have been in the last 2 Foster's Cup grand finals. Will they in fact go out in the first round this year? They're fighting hard to make sure they advance. Jeremy Gard from Claremont, number 6, up towards half forward. Brayshaw fighting hard, also from Claremont, playing on the other side today.
Kicking in danger against Caven. Free kick will go to Brayshaw.
The overlapping of seasons, his brother playing in a Sheffield Shield match against Victoria in Adelaide this weekend. Brayshaw's kick to half forward. Carey at first touch, claims it, and the mark awarded. No mean effort against Paul Roos. On the turn, Carey to the goal square. Lynch gets back there to take the mark for Fitzroy. Alistair Lynch. He's got support out on the broadcast side. Stevens, and that might have gone off him out on the full. Above the knee, says the boundary umpire, and it'll be a throw-in.
Drew's interesting observation between the top sides and the sides that are struggling to make it, like Fitzroy and North Melbourne. I just watched Paul Roos try and mind the mark when Carey was awarded the mark out on the other side. And when he's captain of the side, you must mind the mark properly. And all he did was just wander around and allowed Carey to play on. Now, those are the sort of things that the senior players have got to do to set an example for the younger players, because they're the small things that count in the wash-up. Maybe this game here, the result will only be less than a goal. And those are the sort of things that you really have to watch after. Now Osborne gets the ball clear for Fitzroy. Cormac away to Broderick. Broderick's kick is pretty ordinary, but it gets about 40 metres up towards the Fitzroy goal. Scholl is caught. He may be able to do a good job here, Scholl, because he was outnumbered, and if that ball had have run free, Fitzroy could have got away. There's the siren to end the third term in a three-quarter time. Fitzroy lead by 3 points. They're 9-10. North Melbourne are 8-13.
Fitzroy lost the lead during that third quarter, but regained it just before three-quarter time, so they've led at every change. They lead 9-10-64 to North Melbourne 8-13-61. Peter Satori added another goal in that quarter, has 3 for the game. Wheeldon 2, Abbott 2. For North Melbourne, Schwass got 2 in that quarter. Carey has 2, their leading goal scorers. Just a reminder, after the football today, we go to round 1 of the Australian Touring Car Championship at Amaroo Park. Foster's Cup action continues during the week. Quarter-final, West Coast Eagles against Geelong at Waverley on Wednesday night. What a game that should be. And another quarter-final next Saturday night, Footscray and Adelaide, also at Waverley Park. Now, as Mount Wellington is shrouded in cloud, a reminder about the Olympiathon coming up between 7 and midnight on March the 7th on Channel 7. 17 hours of live national television, and all money raised will go to getting our Australian team to the Barcelona Olympics. In all, 315 athletes going this year, the largest team ever sent overseas by Australia. So please support our Olympiathon and help our athletes win gold in Barcelona.
Well, the last quarter about to start here at the North Hobart Oval, and the difference between the two teams is only 3 points. Fitzroy lead. Chance to increase that lead. Cormac to Dundas. Dundas' kick is a shocker. From only 35 metres out, he doesn't even scrape in from behind. It's actually hit the behind post. So we'll have a boundary thrown in the left forward pocket for Fitzroy. Pretty ordinary kick there by Matthew Dundas. He didn't have too much pressure on him. Dennis, Satori, over the top Roberts. Chance now for Fitzroy through Cormac. North Melbourne get the ball clear towards half back, and it's over on the full, so the free kick will be taken by Seacamp. Good to see him back on the ground. He looked well, badly hurt when he came off the ground earlier. Now Scholl nearly caught, just gets his kick away. The ball is on centre wing. McCarthy taps it on. Allison a good gather. Away he goes to Mann. Mann's kick is hooked. It's good. North are in the van here. Delina. One should Shepherd. No, German takes it. Away to Longmire. Longmire's kick. It's home. North Melbourne get the first goal of the last quarter and hit the front. Longmire. 2 minutes into the last term. Well, not even 2 minutes. Kicks his first goal. And that was a good effort by Mann in getting it to the front of the goals, where German and Delina probably had a little misunderstanding, but Longmire on the end of the hand pass, and he kicked the goal, which has put North Melbourne in front at the business end of this match. 9-13 plays 9-10.
So quite a few changes in the lead here in this first round game in the Foster's Cup. Both teams desperately wanting to get through to the quarterfinals. Roberts in ruck, gets a hand to it. Lyon for Fitzroy. Underfoot, McCormack out of the middle, onto the forward line, and an excellent mark taken by Peter Caven, who hasn't had much game time today. Haven't seen too much of him. Played his first year of league football last year for 8 games. There's Robert Shaw, the coach, and Caven can change the lead again. Good strong mark under pressure from Brayshaw. Right in front and about 40 metres out from goal. They trail by 3 points. It comes back as a shocker off the boot, and right on the line, Satori marks. Well, that went like a boomerang. It looked like it was going out into the Derwent River for a while. It came back, and right on the line, Satori took the mark. We've had 10 changes in the lead in the game, and this could be number 11. Satori has...
So Fitzroy lead by 3 points. 70 plays 67. So we're in for a crackerjack last quarter. Chance for Blakey, who has replaced McCormack in the last minute or so, but he can't get away from that crush of players, so the umpire calls for a bounce. Roberts up against Paxman. Roberts gets the punch down, goes towards half forward. Delina tries to knock it on. Eventually McCarthy does for Schwass. Schwass has got it, back to McCarthy. Good play, but McCarthy's kick is well smothered. Blakey falls as he gets his foot to the ball. Goes away to Broderick. Broderick's kick in towards the centre of the ground. Overrunning it there was Cormack. Martin is caught with the football. North Melbourne important that they hold it in, but they can't. Osborne breaks clear with very much quick pace there. Up towards half forward. Dennis falls over, but he smothers the football. Martin, handball away. Scholl goes in turn to Brayshaw. Brayshaw's kick towards centre wing, a little too high. And taking a good mark out there is Paxman for Fitzroy. He's being forced to do a little bit of the ruck work now. Up towards full forward, comes to the back. Chance now for McRae for North Melbourne. Left foot kick by that player, goes close to the boundary line. Osborne gets back there with Paxman. Paxman takes it over. We'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing. Fitzroy lead by 3 points, 70 to 67 in the early part of the last quarter. So it could go right down to the last couple of minutes, the result pending in this match. German, left foot kick to half forward.
And at half forward, contest there between Roos and Carey, neither of them. Elliott looking for Paul Roos. Off the ground, Delina, former Fitzroy player, playing against them today. He finds the boundary line and will have a throw in about 60 metres from goal. Brett Allison familiarly with the socks down. We have 16.25 minutes remaining and just 3 points the difference. The Lions in front. Kick off the ground for North up to full forward. Longmire kicked his first goal of the match earlier this quarter. Allison overruns. Lynch is back there. He's taken it a long way defensively. Doesn't clear the area yet. McCarthy and the ball out of play. So a really good contest between these teams. In the day competition last year, North Melbourne finished 8th. And Fitzroy were 14th. Up to the goal square. Longmire couldn't mark. Lynch takes it away from him. And we'll have a boundary throw in right alongside the behind post.
It's great to see forwards working very, very hard to make sure that the defenders don't come away conclusively with the football. It's right in front of goals. Longmire can't do anything, but Elliott hurries it through for a rush behind to North Melbourne. So that makes the difference just 2 points. 68 plays 70. And in a low-scoring game, Peter Satori's 4 goals is looking better every minute. Lynch comes to the near side. The ball holds up a little in the breeze. McCarthy can't take the mark. His punch is not bad. Allison, Schwass, good play for North. Here's a chance for Rock. And Rock misses to the right. Holds his head in his hands in disgust. He probably thought he should have made a better job of that, but it's easy to say when you're not in the heat of the situation. Stevens marks the kick in. Got on his own at centre half back, Brett Stevens. There's no one on the mark. He can run on. No, he elects to go to that far side. Looking out there for Blakey. Can't take the mark. German doesn't quite know where the footy is. Dundas does. Picks it up, kicks it high towards half forward. Marking contest. McRae and Lyon. McRae goes back and gets into the action. The football's still underneath 2 or 3 players there, and the umpire will be forced to bounce it. It's right half forward for Fitzroy, about 85 to 90 metres from their goal. Delina, he was going nowhere, and the umpire will bounce once again.
Robbo, we've got a pretty close game, and just a reminder that there can't be a draw if scores are level at full time. 2 extra periods of 5 minutes to find a winner in this first round game. McCarthy marks on his chest at centre wing. That might be 50. Dragged to ground after the mark. Play on they go. Through German. Martin. Met solidly by Dundas. Good play by Dundas to dispossess him. Joe Cormack's there for Fitzroy. They've turned the ball over in the centre of the ground. Up to half forward for the Lions. Bad bounce for Scholl. Caven. Off the left boot to full forward. Satori. At the back, a chance for Broderick. An open goal. Oh, he just got it.
76 plays 69. The pressure right back on North Melbourne now. Fitzroy leading. The punch is not bad. Up towards North Melbourne's half-forward area. Clarkson, Allison tries to get away with the football. The umpire will call for a bounce. Brett Allison there. He's kicked 1 goal in the match so far. Paxman doing the ruck work. Carey tries to knock it further forward. Out comes Broderick. Good play by that player. Sweeping hand pass is pretty good. Away to Paxman. In turn to Blakey. Blakey's long kicker towards full forward. A high one. Oh, Caven got back there. Couldn't quite take the mark. Brayshaw under pressure. Gets his foot to the ball. Kicks it towards the wing. Schwass caught with the football. Handball too far for Broderick to able to intercept. Here's a chance now for Cormack. Left half forward. Hooks the ball. Back in towards full forward. And a good mark. A desperate mark taken by Dennis in the last line of defence for North Melbourne.
Oh, this is good stuff. 76 to 69. Fitzroy leading by 7 points. 13 minutes remaining. Dwyer. A couple of senior games last year, but still just embarking on a league career. Comes to the back of the pack. And that's an excellent mark. Hand pass by McCarthy over to Allison. In goes Romero. Over the top. Robertson open goal. North with a point.
Footy. Terrific footy there. 1 point the difference in favour of Fitzroy. It's goal for goal. Rock kicks it to half forward for North Melbourne. Allison leads in the race for the ball, but it just bounces end on end and eventually over the boundary line. So with 12 minutes left in the game, 1 point the difference in favour of the Lions. The ball is at right half forward for North Melbourne. Ruck contest. Paxman, Roberts at the back. McCarthy does pretty well, forces the ball forward. Mann tries to shepherd. Still McCarthy in the action. Well done, Johnny McCarthy. Anthony Dwyer. Right foot kick towards full forward. The bounce is awkward. Player at the back is Crocker. He'll kick it for North. North Melbourne are in front. Just under 12 minutes left. They lead by 5 points. 11-15 to 11-10. And at three-quarter time, there'd only been 17 goals kicked, 9 to 8. And already in this last quarter, we've seen 5 goals kicked by the 2 teams. Longmire, a clean bowled him. Crocker anticipating at the back into an open goal, and he couldn't possibly have missed from there. So Darren Crocker's first goal puts North Melbourne in front.
And another change in the lead. Lyon, going through solidly was McRae. Fitzroy going forward. Dubious looking hand pass. It comes back from Osborne, and Dundas gets it back, but his kick astray marked by Brayshaw. Mark Brayshaw towards the outer side. Here's good play. Taken by Peter German. Well, at different stages, both teams have looked out of it and have come back. Carey on Ruse. The mark to Carey.
Fortunate.
Yep. Kicked by Wayne Carey to full forward. Man at full stretch, couldn't get there. Tap back by Longmire, but it goes to Baldwin. He picks out Broderick. Good hand pass over the top to Stevens, and now wide open for Brett Stevens. Oh, Lyon measures the pass a bit too high for Blakey. It's taken by Scholl, straight up the middle, North Melbourne. Schwass from behind, but in front was Elliott to take a good steadying defensive mark for the Lions. He comes out short. It's taken here by Matthew Armstrong. Recovered from a knee reconstruction. Pokes the pass to half forward. Good football. Mark to Caven. possibly too far out to score, 55 metres. North lead by 5 points. 10 3/4 minutes remaining in the game. To the edge of the goal square. Satori's there. Off hands to Lyon. One way, then the other. Has time to steady. Left foot snap for goal is close, but just off line, a behind.
Well, Ross Lyon had a real good look, didn't he? He wanted to share that with someone, but obviously everyone was well guarded by their North Melbourne opponents. And in the finish, he was forced to have a shot at goal and missed by a reasonable margin in the end. Dennis kicks to the far side. Oh, what a great fly there by Crocker. Plays on, shrugs the tackle. Hand pass intercepted by Osborne. He may make Darren Crocker pay here. No, he doesn't. Osborne can't quite get that hand pass away. And it's forced over for a throw-in. North Melbourne by 4 points. 10 minutes left. Abbott takes it out of the air. No one can get away from their opponents in that crunch of players. Dean McRae, the last to pick himself up, and the umpire will call for a bounce. Well within scoring distance for Fitzroy. They trail by 4 points. Been an entertaining game for most of the afternoon. Rock, tap on, good. German, little left foot toe poke. Ramiro leaves it. Crocker can't break the tackle. Gives away ground. McRae gets back. He's going to be tackled by Caven. Is that holding the ball? No. Throw it in, please. Boundary umpire O'Byrne. Dean McRae. 50 metres from the Fitzroy goal. Again, Roberts. Strength, but Lyon over the top. Chance for Cormac. Lyon. Abbott. Up towards full forward. Marking contest. Sartori. He's kicked 4. Good effort here, slipping the North Melbourne player Craig Scholl. Satori from point-blank range makes no mistake and gets his...
Another change in the lead. Fitzroy lead by 2 points, and we have under 9 minutes remaining. Blakey out of the middle for the Lions. Desperation by Scholl. Brayshaw ridden into the ground. Osborne, a great scoop off the ground. Richard Osborne has kicked another one.
Well, I think you summed it up, Drew, there when sorry for chipping in. He kicked his first goal. You're right there, but gee, the gather was brilliant. Brayshaw well tackled by Caven, fairly, which was important, and Richard Osborne swooping on it. Left foot goal on the run was a beauty, and both umpires concurring there that it was all clear. So Richard Osborne's first goal gives Fitzroy a little bit of breathing space, but the game is far from over. They lead at the moment by 8 points. North Melbourne, never say die, back in the centre. Abbott gets the hand pass away. Osborne tries to kick it 80 metres and it goes about 35. Straight up in the air. Martin. Back goes Scholl. Gives away a few metres. It's close to the Fitzroy goal. Scholl tries to crash his way through. Close to the boundary line. Chance now for Cormac. Gives it away in turn to Harding. Abbott caught. No. Oh, Clarkson caught with a footy. Away go North Melbourne. This time it's Dwyer. And he kicks it clear out towards the wing. Spargo a little slow. Close to the boundary line. It's taken over. And with just under 8 minutes left, Fitzroy are still well inside their attacking half. 89 plays 81. The Lions by 8 points.
Taken by Dundas. Inside half forward with the kick. Dennis bowled over by his teammate. And eventually Clarkson takes it. A bullocking player, Alistair Clarkson, and Richard Dennis found out about it then. Both wearing the same colours. Abbott, oh, Gallagher just grabbed him round the neck, no whistle. Cormac, Dundas' hand pass went behind Osborne and out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in. They're about 70 metres out from goal. Fitzroy in attack, leading by 8 points with 7.5 minutes to go. The loser bows out in the Foster's Cup. Ruckman fight for it again. Osborne ducked the wrong way into Crocker's tackle. Well, the umpires have pretty much put the whistle away, and this is going to be a throw-in.
Yeah, that could nearly have been a penalty against Richard Osborne, trying to duck back and break past the tackler. But have a look at these two in the ruck. Abbott and Gallagher. Ball comes clear. Lyon caught. Handball goes back to centre half back. Clarkson's caught with a footy. 4 Fitzroy players. Dundas caught with a footy. Clarkson somehow gets clear. Kicks with the left foot again and goes for the safety of the boundary line. 89 plays 81. 7 minutes left. North need to kick the next goal. The fans down here have been treated to some good entertainment by the players. Crocker racing after it. Bounces a little awkward. Dundas. Now Baldwin. Kicks across his body. Gets 40 metres. Oh, 2 North Melbourne players. No talk. Clarkson and Dennis. But Dennis makes up for his mistake and kicks it wide towards the wing. No mark out there. But Dwyer stands up. Gets the handball away to Crocker. Crocker's left foot kick is good. Goes about 40 metres. Delina can't mark. In there is Carey. He can't get clear, but Paul Roos can, and he crashes his way through and kicks Fitzroy up towards the 50-metre line. At the back, Lyon can't mark, but Dennis, who's played well in defence for North Melbourne. Handball's away. Ramiro's kick up towards centre forward. There's no one home. The bouncing ball goes free. Roberts in there. Chance for McCarthy. Taps it on further. A little kick off the ground. Good fortune, Mark Roberts. It's been paid. How far did that go?
What a clever kick by Peter German. He meant that. There's no risk.
But how far did it travel? Is it the required distance?
9 3/4.
Oh, my golly. Oh, I'd like to measure that off. But anyway, for North Melbourne's benefit, Roberts has the ball about 30 metres out, closer than that, and he makes no mistake, he kicks the goal.
Well, Peter German could be playing soccer. A name like German, he might be called Franz Beckenbauer or something. That was a ripper. Gallagher goes off the ground. Comes to Baldwin and Fitzroy. Look at the desperation of all these players. The Foster's Cup quarter-final spot up for grabs. Kick forward by McCormack to the 50-metre line. Another chance for the Lions. Stevens is there. A scoop by Clarkson. Dundas can't break the tackle. Well done by Brayshaw to find Clarkson. 2 points the difference. Fitzroy lead. 5 minutes remaining. The kick goes out of bounds on the full, and the free back into play will be taken by Paul Broderick. He centres. Good kick. Comes to Blakey. That mark was taken by Harding near the goal square. Martin grabbed by one arm that could be holding it in the goal square. Oh, a bit lucky to get away with that.
Oh, dear me. Say no more. Michael Martin can feel a little bit stiff there that he wasn't awarded a free kick. He's forced to do the ruck work. Still the umpire. He swallowed the whistle. Clarkson, just a little kick. Dean McRae gets past McCormack. No, he doesn't. Wielden. Ball is bundled over for a throw-in. Now the players, very, very desperate. They've been pretty desperate for most of the day, but there's a sense of urgency. Look at the coaching bench. Gee whiz. They'd have a few ulcers amongst them. Here's a shot for goal. And it's hooked a little bit too far. I think it was McCormack. And just a little too far to the left and through for a behind to Fitzroy. They go to 90, leading North Melbourne 87. North Melbourne goes straight up the centre of the ground. Now, there needs to be a possession here for the North Melbourne side. It's not. Goes back towards Fitzroy's goal. Satori beaten for it. Scholl desperate. Dundas caught with a football. Now Harding caught, but gets the handball away. North Melbourne still in the van. Scholl will be caught. No, he won't. Well done, Craig Scholl. Kicks it back in towards the centre. No mark. Yes, brilliantly. Carey goes away to McCarthy. McCarthy will put North in front. No, he won't. He misses to the right.
He had Roberts 30 metres in the clear and wanted to kick a goal from 55 metres.
And covering himself in glory, he missed. Fitzroy lead by 2 points.
90 plays 88 with under 4 minutes remaining at North Hobart Oval. Hope you're enjoying the action live and exclusive on 7 Sport. Crocker goes over the top, no mark. Osborne, who kicked a sensational goal earlier, comes to Harding. He kicks anywhere. At least it goes Fitzroy's way. Dennis left it behind him. Well done, Elliott. He was legged.
Oh, it was a professional free kick. If he'd hadn't legged him, Elliott was away.
There haven't been too many free kicks paid in this last quarter. The kick by Elliott. Satori underneath the ball. McRae marks for North Melbourne and came down pretty hard. Good running out of the back line.
Oh, good mark. crucial mark, that.
Michael Gallagher just behind the wing for North Melbourne. 3 1/4 minutes remaining. Fitzroy by 2 points.
Dennis, long kick to centre half forward. Oh, good mark. Another crucial mark. Ruse, solid at centre half back.
1 each to Ruse and Carey in the last minute.
Ruse kicks it long, out towards the wing. Dennis from behind can't mark. Schwass and Elliott, but it's over for a boundary throw-in. Just under 3 minutes left now. 90 plays 88. Ruck contest, Gallagher gets it down, but Cormac sharks it nicely towards the forward pocket area. Good mark taken by Harding in front of Scholl. So Fitzroy, a chance here. Harding's kick high into the pocket, goes with the breeze. No mark taken. Chance here for Blakey. Little hand pass, Wheeldon. Kick to the front of the square. Who can mark this? No one. North Melbourne will get clear. McCarthy goes away to Clarkson. You're going to get caught, son. No, he's not. He does it well. McCarthy will get caught. Well done, Broderick. Desperate stuff. Ramiro. North Melbourne into their forward half. No mark taken. Punched away. Now the race is on. Longmire doing some hard work there at half forward. And terrific stuff by Armstrong as he punches it over for a boundary throw-in. And he gets a little pat on the back of the head from Elliott. And the throw-in will take place about 2 kicks from North Melbourne's goal. There's still a chance. Schwass, Spargo, kicks it up and under, goes nowhere. Gallagher can't mark. Here's a chance for Elliott. Fitzroy will get away. Armstrong, good vision. Handball to Blakey, back to Armstrong. Armstrong gets around Clarkson and goes long with the left foot into the pocket. But Scholl gets back and marks quite safely. North will have to transfer play. Scholl does just that and goes to the outer side, looking out there for Crocker.
And Crocker marks at halfback. Still hard to pick a winner, although Fitzroy leads by 2 points. Ruse taps it away from Carey, but it's taken wide Roberts. Well played by Roberts. He's had a big last quarter with 2 goals. Intercepted out by Broderick. His kick over centre wing. They fly. A mark paid.
Terrific effort by Crocker.
And Darren Crocker has also had a terrific last quarter. Kicked a goal. Kicked by Crocker to half forward. Armstrong punches down to the front. Baldwin. There's the time remaining. A minute left. 2 points the difference. Abbott. And now the whistle. And the umpire will ball it up.
I didn't think he was going to blow the whistle. Then he waited and waited and waited for the players to try and clear it out. Less than a minute. What a finish. Just 2 points in it. Either side can snatch victory. Chance now for Guard. Long kick to the wing. Mark to Dundas. Maybe critical now. Dundas will kick Fitzroy well within goal-scoring distance. No mark taken. North Melbourne will have to take it back with no interceptions. Dennis is on the end of it. Now a chance for Wheeldon. It's kicked off the ground. Back towards centre wing. Dundas, 23 seconds. McRae, free kick to Fitzroy. And surely that will be North Melbourne's last chance, as a free kick will go to Matthew Dundas about 65 to 70 metres from the Fitzroy goal. He kicks it well up there near Satori. Punched away by Brayshaw close to the line, has taken over. And it will be a Fitzroy victory. 90 plays, 88. And just seconds left in the game. Right forward pocket for Fitzroy. Satori doing the ruck work. The ball comes to ground, Wheeldon underneath it. The umpire will call for a bounce. And that will be the last passage of play. There's the siren. Fitzroy have won it. A great victory to the Lions by 2 points. Fitzroy 13-12-90. North Melbourne 12-16-88. And Robert Shaw, I'm sure he's breathing a sigh of relief. Wayne Schimmelbusch, on the other hand, will probably be saying, well, we're a bit stiff, but we had our chances in that last quarter.
Well, what a terrific finish to this first round game. Congratulations to Robert Shaw. The Lions, using North Hobart as a home ground, have finally had a victory after 2 seasons of trying, albeit by 2 points, 13-12-90 to 12-16-88. Fitzroy victorious by 2 points, 13-12-90 to 12-16-88. Peter Satori, the recruit from Carlton, kicked 2 goals in the last quarter for a total of 5 for the game, a telling factor. 2 goals to Wheeldon and also 2 to Abbott. And North Melbourne, Schwass got 2, Carey got 2, and in the last quarter, Roberts kicked 2. So let's have a look at how the draw for the Foster's Cup looks now. And Fitzroy going ahead of North Melbourne and will meet Sydney in the next round. And the other half, Fitzroy and Adelaide. Now to Wednesday night, and the West Coast Eagles play Geelong at Waverley in Melbourne. And what a game that should be. Both finalists in the day comp last year. And next Saturday, Fitzroy and Adelaide at Waverley Park, as the Foster's Cup action really hots up as we get to the quarter-final round. Today here at North Hobart, a crowd of 5,256 watched, and perhaps they might take on the Lions as their home team, because the Lions finally gave them a victory in a game that should bring people back to football the more they play it here.
Well, everybody loves a winner, Drew, don't they? And I think Fitzroy did very well. They showed a lot of character. A couple of times North Melbourne looked as though they may run over the top of them. Little bit of good fortune, maybe German to Roberts, and Roberts kicked a goal that put North Melbourne in front. But I don't know whether you can read much into the stats there. Certainly the hit-outs in favour of Fitzroy. Michael Gallagher certainly needs to play with North Melbourne with his height. But Fitzroy with the character, they had the good fortune in the finish. Finished 2 points in front, they won the game.
Well, the Lions have won 2 practice games and now a Foster's Cup game, and they've started the season well. Hope you've enjoyed it.
This has been another